Now we there is a Pinball Done Quick side stream at twitch.tv/MLPinball. Donate and have a chance to win a Star Wars pinball machine. All their subs and cheer benefit Doctors Without Borders, and all followers will be entered into daily midnight drawing. Go to twitch.tv/MLPinball. And now we're ready for our next run, 1001 Spikes with double taco.
So, hey everybody, this is 1001 Spikes. It's a game by Nicholas, who you may know for the Binding of Isaac remakes, porting Cave Story to anything that'll sit still long enough, and maybe the Legend of Tyrone. And my couch can go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'm Metalama.
Hi, I'm Vorpal.
And they're the chumps who I managed to drag in here. So I'm ready whenever time's ready. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. So 1001 Spikes is a precision platformer, but it's pretty straightforward. The run itself is also pretty straightforward. There's no real major glitches. There's very little RNG. It's mostly down to knowing the movement techniques and also knowing the shortcuts through levels, of which there are quite a few. Right now we're in the tutorial area, so there isn't really much in the way of that. But one thing you'll notice me doing right now is canceling the clear screen. You do that at the end of each level, and it saves roughly 2 seconds per level, which adds up to exactly a ton of time. And it's basically free, so why not? I'm about to come up and do another movement technique. You can get a lot of them out of the way in the tutorial level, which is nice. So what I'm about to do is fast falling, and what that means is anytime you go over a ledge, you want to try to be in the air and falling as you're doing it, because it's faster to do it that way than just walking over the edge. That was close. So there are 6 levels per stage. The last is a transition level. And here's where we have audio cues. There we go. They're not like the frame fastest way to do things, but they're very consistent. And now we're coming up to the end of World 1, so the end of the tutorial. Now the run's really going to start opening up. This is flag skip. It's the most important skip in the game. It does absolutely nothing. But it saves that poor little flag. If you walk past it, it falls over and is real sad.
So Taco, I've noticed that you have, I believe it's 2 different jump heights?
Yes, there is a short jump and a high jump, and they are actually 2 different jump buttons, which is pretty wild. That throws a lot of people off when they first start playing, but I actually really like it.
Yeah, it definitely works really well.
Another audio cue here. Nice, got it. So I'm going to start talking about the level after this one. It's where we 2-3 is where we start using our next major movement technique, and it's the first real hard level in the run. There's just very little room for error if you want to get the fastest route through it. Thankfully, there's a way to recover that, but you lose a couple seconds, so I'm going to go for it. And if I don't get it, then I'll flop around and die on the level for a little bit, because that's usually what happens. See, the first jump is also real tough. And it makes you look like a dork as you just fall down. All right, let's go for it. Got it.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah. So what I just did there is a buffered jump. And what that means is 7 frames before you hit the ground, you can put in another jump command. And as soon as you hit the ground, it will immediately execute that jump command. It's a lot like, canceling moves in fighting games, or I think there's something like it in Dark Souls too. It's pretty common in a lot of games, and it's real helpful. This is the first real hard level of the game casually, because the top layer of the level is just full of all sorts of nasty traps. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with those. We're just going to go this way. And I'm gonna fall in the flamethrower. But thankfully, I don't have to do the top of this level anymore, because if I had to, I wouldn't be able to, because I forgot how to do it.
So I've noticed that you have a couple different weapons at your disposal.
Yes, you throw a knife, and that's really your only attack. You use it to attack scorpions and also to counter darts that are thrown at you.
The melee attack that you sometimes see when he sneaks up behind a scorpion and shanks him, that's based on proximity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, this is just a hold right level, so now we got time for a donation or two.
Sure thing. We have $25 from an anonymous donor who says, "Good luck, Double Taco."
Thanks.
And we have $30 from Double Uno who says, "Grats Taco on your second games done quick.
Aw, thanks, dude.
5 years ago, an MSF compound hosted me at a great cookout in rural Africa. Now it's my turn to return the favor with some interest later."
All right, there's another audio cue here that I'm going to shut up for. Jump, jump, jump. There we go. Got it. Now I have to count this down here to keep track of the spikes. 1, 2, 3, jump. All right, hard part of that level's over.
Nice.
Yeah. World 3 looks really impressive, and for the most part, it doesn't have that many complicated things going on in it. It's just a little bit of relaxation before we get to World 4 and 5, which are just real tough. There's time for another donation or two if you want.
Sure thing. We even got a bunch of donations.
No.
We have $20 from Al or AAL who says, "Ha ha ha, good try. Here's the money. Your choice, announcer." And that is for EGA for Ayla's name and Chrono Trigger. We have $25 from Slamphibian who says, "I just wanted to say this has been a great week so far and really excited for what's to come." We have $5 from Anonymous who says, "Do it for Nep Nep Taco."
Please no.
We have $15 from Nahu who says, "Taco, remember to be video games. Love from your IRC buds."
Thanks, Nahu. Always be video games. All right, we're coming up on the end of the easy half of the run. After this stage, which is where the difficulty really starts ramping up. But this stage is mostly just stuff getting out of your way.
So may I ask what those skulls are? I assume that they're some sort of collectible that is probably not necessary to, say, like an any % category for this run.
Right. Ah, dang it. I tried to save that. The skulls, there's one in each of them in the Ukampa half of the game. And what they do is, first they give you a 1-up, which is, sort of important, I guess. You start out with a ton of lives. But then they also, let me focus here real quick. Once you get all 30 of them, it unlocks the final boss in the second half of the game. So in order to fully beat this game, you have to 100% it. All right.
So is there also a key in every level as well?
Yes.
The key is necessary to open the door that leads to the exit.
Right. So what I just did there is the last big movement technique, the purpose of which is to make it here before this flamethrower fires. So on my way back, I'll explain it. I'm going to have to take a bit of a safety strat here because I was a little late getting out of there. Just got to wait here for a certain point. There we go. So what I did was jump and throw a knife, and I'll be able to show you why that's important here. Because as you can see, when I'm throwing a knife on the ground, I'm stopping, which isn't good for lining up with some cycles and levels. So as long as you're in the air and you throw a knife, it doesn't matter if you land on the ground as you're throwing it. Ah, no. you won't stop moving. So that comes into play in a few levels in a big way. And what you just saw me do there was be right outside of the stab hitbox. There's only a certain range you could do it at. And actually, if you do it from the absolute maximum range, while the scorpion is walking away from you, you will whiff, and the scorpion will turn around and poke you. Oh, now I get to wing this too. Then I just jumped into a boulder. So there isn't a lot of recovery strats in a lot of these levels. So if you kind of hit your head once, that's it.
The cute thing this game does is when you crouch, it actually does lower your hitbox.
Yeah, by a couple pixels. Comes into play in a couple of different levels. It's not super important, though. It is important when I'm getting hit in the head with rocks, though. So I'm just going to try to focus up and get through this level so we can get on to even harder levels in World 4. It actually doesn't matter how fast you go through the beginning part of this level because it all comes down to one thing at the end which stops you. There we go. So you have to wait here for these spikes. So no matter how fast you go through the first part of the level, it all comes down to that.
There you go.
All right. So now we're on our way to World 4. World 4 has a lot of people's favorite music in the game. I've grown to dislike it because the world's really tough. But the music in general in this game is super good. With the exception of one track, which I'll let y'all enjoy when we get to it. So World 4 is going to have some stuff that may at first glance look like it's RNG, but it isn't. So these fireballs here are not RNG. There is RNG, but it's not until later in the run, so we can just kind of weave through them like this. Oh no, and miss it. Let's just start over. I don't know how to deal with that.
So they're all on a set internal pattern?
Yes. Oh man. Let's see if I can wing this. Nope.
This strat is extremely hard, by the way.
Yeah. There's an even harder version of it too in the IL.
I don't think that harder version was even around when I was running the game.
Okay. There we go. So now we get to weave through these. And take a little safety strat here. Give me more time down here. Because then you can fall and miss that orb. Now 4-2 is pretty cool. It's also the hardest level in the run. And the reason it's cool is it has every single movement technique in the entire game in one level. So we're using buffered jumps here. Audio cue. Fast falls over here.
Oh gosh, I remember this level when I was playing casually. I had no idea how to get through that spike falling tunnel.
Well, I screwed up the scorpions, but I might be able to recover it here. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take it real slow through this level, unfortunately. No, and then sometimes you don't stab when you go for the stab. I haven't quite figured out how or why yet. So now I live on 4-2. This is my home now.
Interesting home.
Yep, it's comfy.
I bet it's hard to get insurance on, though.
There we go. No, come on. Let's see here. There we go. So then we go up here, toss. There we
Nice.
go. Got
Awesome.
it. It looks really cool when you get it. All right, we got time for some donations on this level.
Will do. We have $50 from Samba de Amigo. He says, "Good luck, Taco, and remember, I am the champion of the ninjas."
Y'all should watch Ninja the Protector. It is a heck of a movie.
We have $200 from Zeke15, who says, "Go Taco, love Zeke."
Aw, thanks, Zeke. Love you too, Zeke.
We have $20 from Palisaire, who says, "Hi, Double Taco. Good luck on the run. Glad I get to see the face behind the voice. Also, deja vu? I think you've been here before. Also, hi, Best Bud Metal Llama."
Hi, Palisare. Love you, dude.
Gotta stand on some safe spots here.
Something that you don't really notice for a while when you're playing the game is there's a lot of visual cues as to which spots are safe. Like, for instance, if you're looking at the spike quarters here, where the plants are, that's almost always a safe spot.
And those light blocks in the top row are where it's safe to stand when those spike cycles are going through. So this level's an auto-scroller. And at this point, I'd like to give a shout out to the French restream where the world record holder, Barramundo, is currently doing commentary. Because I like dying on this level when we race, especially at the end of it. So now we're in the auto-scroller portion, where ducking comes in handy. And the rest is just a few audio cue jumps. Jump. 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 Cool. That's where I like to die, right at the very end. All right, so now we're coming to World 5. World 5 is also really difficult, and we're going to get our first bit of RNG. So I'm going to clam up real hard in 5-1 because there's more fireballs in it, and this time their position is random, and they're right over the door too, which is super nice.
I don't know what it is about these indie platformer devs. They really like to throw random stuff at you.
Yeah, there's a few real mean exits to levels. You also have to fall and hit orbs.
Yeah, 5-1 is just a hard stage in general. That cue is pretty rough.
All right, fireballs, play nice. Got a decent pattern.
Nice.
All right, 5-2 is another little breather stage before 5-3, which is another 5-3 and 5-4 are back-to-back really hard stages. This just has a little audio cue coming up here for these little moving platforms. Jump. Ooh, there we go. Whew. It's all in service of not getting toasted. All right, so 5-3 is real difficult. And the reason is because of that gold thwomp there on the right. It hops the direction opposite you're facing, so we want to grab the key and still have it hop to the right. Let's see if I can get it first try. Nope. It's pretty rare that I get it first try. It's a really tough jump. Nope, nope. This level used to be the run killer for me. Now it's the next one. So the later, the better. Turning back too early. On the upside, the first few notes of this music are really good. There we go, got it.
Nice, dude. Well, the level's not over with yet.
No, it's not. That's the hard part, though. Assuming I don't jump really early here. There we go, cool.
All right, now we can clap.
Now the hard level. It's that you've like no room for error, so if you mess up that one jump, that's it, it's GG. But it ain't even over yet. I deal with these, and then get a jump down here, right? Oh, nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to do the backup strat. You want to get here about half a cycle before when I did. Ah, no, and then get stomped. So now I have another opportunity to show you, because it's pretty cool. Again, we get to enjoy the first few notes of World 5's theme. It's a lovely theme.
I can't think of a single song in this game that I dislike.
I think it's like 2 frames that you have to jump there.
And this is 60 FPS?
Yes. Okay, got it. So now we just get to run through these. There's a little setup here to make this safe. Jump along with them, because jumping with Thwomps is fun. They seem to be having a good time with it.
It's a kind of shame they don't make any interesting noises like the Mario ones.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Nice. So that's the last hard level in the run. So now we just have this little almost freebie until you fall down in the fire and die in the middle of a race. I didn't do that. Nope. Shoutouts to Bearmundo again. And now we are leaving World 5. World 6 is just a couple of corridors in the final boss, and also the last bit of RNG in the game, right at the end of the run. Because this is a very nice game. It has the player's blood pressure in mind. So we have a little hallway here. You can read a donation or two.
We have $150 from Oscar62 saying long-time watcher, first-time donor. My friend passed away recently, and since he was an avid gamer, donating to this SGDQ seems appropriate. He was also an avid Castlevania fan, so doubly appropriate. In memory of Dory, from Oscar, Odin, Olaf, Danny, and Bjorgvin.
All right, so what I'm doing here, on the first and last key here, I'm canceling the animation. It's the closest thing to a glitch in the game, and it opens the door to the final boss. So now we're about to hear the best final boss theme of all time. So I'm just gonna shut up for a few seconds and let y'all enjoy it. Isn't it lovely? One-winged angel, got nothing on it.
Remember when I said I couldn't think of a song I disliked? I remember this one now.
Thankfully, the boss is really straightforward. You just hit it a few times. And then drops some random blocks here, which usually play nice. Okay, yeah, there we go. So yeah, so that's the final boss. And but we're not done yet. We're not even done with the RNG yet. So chat, I need you to give me your energy. Raise your Vohios, please. And the reason is because, well, there's the score attack. It's the whose line is it anyway of score attacks because the points don't matter. But this door here, this block here is a door. Then after this score attack will open anywhere between 2 and 10 seconds after the final music starts. There is nothing you could do to influence that at all. So you could be on PB or even world record pace and you just get to wait 8 seconds at the door. It's like, great.
Did anyone ever find out what causes that?
Nope. And in practice, I've been getting full 10-second doors, so you owe me one door. Door. Hey, gave me an all right door. Thanks, door. And this is just a pretty straightforward escape. You get a little reminder of all the obstacles you face as you run by them. Bye, Thwomp. And time's going to be coming up after I grab this final key, and the screen will fade to white, and so after the fade. And time. What was the time on that? What was the time?
2340.
Ah, well. So, if this suffering looks like it's fun, you should swing by the 1001 Spikes Discord and join our races. It's a really, really, really fun game to race. So, yeah, that's it from me. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you for that run. And I also have a special announcement to make. We have raised $500,000. For Doctors Without Borders, a fine, fine charity for the Summer Games Done Quick. Fine humanitarian organization. And we also have a bunch of donations. We have $50 from Corrosive Frost, who says, I love the Castlevania series and love the great work of everyone involved in GDQ. Keep it up. Anonymous with $5 says, sick at home watching these sick runs. Adopt the animals? We have $50 from Pantera. I watch all of GDQs and I donate the same amount each time, but no one gives a chance to put this on stream. Have a nice day, everyone, and I love you. And now we're going to have an interview for the game V, featuring Jay Hobbs, Fiery Blizzard, and Chad Welly.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Jay Hobbs. I am joined here with Chad Welly and Fiery Blizzard. And yeah, you guys are going to be running VVV, or V6, or VV, or 3Ws, whatever, however you want to pronounce it, however you want to say it, in just a few runs now, and you're going to be doing a 100% race, right?
Yep.
So I want to first just jump right into the race aspect. I mean, this is such a difficult platformer, like very hard game, notoriously, and now you got to also add on that aspect of racing against your opponent, who's also very good. So for each of you, kind of like, how do you deal with that? Are you more nervous, less nervous because at least someone else is also doing the run, or is it just like it's just exciting?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think I'm actually less nervous. So I've done 3 AGDQ runs as solo, and also being the only person commentating on that. And a lot of the audio difficulties also happened during a couple of those runs. Whereas I know Chad and I are both very competent at the category. It's going to be interesting as a race, and in fact, it was the only way I was going to submit this game again to a marathon, because 100% is fine, but at least 100% as a race makes it a lot more interesting. We'll show off a couple different things between our 2 screens. It's not going to be exactly the same. We'll throw off a little bit. You get to see a couple minor changes to the route. But I think overall, it makes me less nervous now that Chad's here. And then we'll also have a couple people on the couch commentating, so we can solely focus on the race.
Cool. Chad?
Yeah, this is my first marathon, but I've been grinding out the game so much, and I know what to dial back and what to avoid and what to do. So I have a feeling that we're not going to have any trouble.
All right, awesome. Now, I also wanted to ask you just a little bit about difficult platformers in general. Is this the only one you play? Do you like playing a lot of them? For some people, they pick up one, they'll pick up Super Meat Boy or VVV, and they're done. They're like, no, this is terrible. But others, it's like, let me play, I want to be the guy, and I want to be the Bashi, and all these other games. Like, do you generally stick with just one, or you actually like doing a lot of others?
I've kind of branched out a little bit. Like, I play a bit of Dust Force DX, a little bit of Meat Boy, but I haven't played that in a while. And on a whim, I'll just pick up some small community game that I can finish in a few minutes, because I have a greater preference towards shorter speed games.
Yeah, same with me. I did Super Meat Boy for a month back in 2013. Vorpal and I actually switched games. It was kind of a cool, neat thing after HDQ 2013 or something like that. Did Dust Force for a little bit. The big thing is, for me, I don't have a lot of free time, so I really need to stick to the shorter games. A lot of the other games I ran were like Zelda, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, LADX. But I just don't have that time, so it needs to be all shorter games, and a lot of those are what people would classify as hellish platformers. It's a lot of fun, personally.
Yeah. And I think that kind of leads into my next question, which is what got you started running VVVVV, or even just playing it?
Okay, so the first time I played this game, it was a challenge by friends. This was back in 2010, so around the time the game came out.
Wow.
It's like a multi-game challenge that a bunch of friends that I had in high school had. And so that's how I started this game. And then kind of picking up running it, ran into Tranquilite, who was an old school runner of this game. It's a quick enough game where when I was in undergrad, a lot of times I had a little bit of free time between classes. I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't go grab lunch. I couldn't really go across campus and meet up with friends. So a lot of times I'd pull out my laptop and just play through the game once. That's kind of how it all started. That's how I picked up the game in the first place.
Yeah, I got into speedrunning watching a VOD of, I think, AGDQ or SGDQ 2012 of PJ doing Battletoads, and I spent a little bit of time on that, but I couldn't finish it fast enough before classes started, so I ended up playing V6 on the other hand. And I had played the game before when it came out casually, but I don't know what made me play it as a speedrun, but I ended up doing it glitchless and then learned about the tricks, and so now I'm here.
Cool. Well, we're happy to have you here. We're going to jump into a few social media questions we've gotten from people. So the first one, I'm actually going to ask these first two at the same time because they're pretty similar. The first is, how much has VVVVV speedrun route changed since it was first run? And the next is also, what is your favorite glitch that ruined any percent? Those kind of tie into each other, I think, so why don't we do that?
Thanks, CFB, for that. So the V6 speedrun route, you can kind of put it into two different things. I'll talk about 100%. Chat here will talk about any percent. The 100% route changed a little bit. The big thing that changed, and big thing that changed between when it was first ran back in 2011 and now, is that there's a trick called telejumping. That's one of the things we'll talk about, where you can kind of clip into walls off of a teleporter. You'll see that in the run. That's something that's in 100%. The bigger thing is something called Gravitron skip, where you skip one of the intermissions, so you can skip either intermission 1 or 2. And in fact, you won't see it in this marathon just because it's insanely hard to do.
Don't blame you in a race setting.
It's called double intermission skip, where you both skip the escort mission, which is intermission 1, and the Gravitron, which is intermission 2. The issue is that you have to be really precise with your movement, and if you mess up once, the run's over.
Yeah, you lose like a minute.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And it's just really difficult. It's not remotely marathon safe, so you're not going to see it.
So that's 100%. You said Travis could talk about any percent.
Yeah, one of the biggest changes to the any percent category, the game was run all the way back in version 1.0, which the physics was actually different then when it was run on Flash.
Oh, wow.
Since version 2.0, there were a couple of tricks like using the R key to kill yourself instead of like running into spikes to go back to checkpoints. Right. And there was also the introduction of edge flipping, where you'll have a brief period of time after falling off of a ledge where you can input your flip, and it can do all kinds of skips. You can skip gravity, like you can accelerate faster, and you can transition on platforms that you normally wouldn't have been able to do in previous versions.
Wow, so pretty drastically different between...
Yeah, so there's a big thing that also hasn't been talked about. When CFB had that question of what killed any percent, the big thing is in 2.0 there was something that was found, I think, in 2014 by Skepio, and then kind of built upon by Master June over at the task community. That was text storage. And the way text storage would work is that you could basically skip everything in the game. The game was basically, it turned from what at the time was a 12:18 run to a 40-second run.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's like an integer qualifier in the game, like just a number that tells where you're supposed to go or appear. And you can just input the ending once you gain access to that number.
Which is immediately in the opening cutscene, so.
Unbelievable. I'm glad we're getting to see 100% here.
Yeah.
Getting to see more than
If you want to see any percent, the 2015 kind of glitch fest has that any percent route in it.
Right.
But it's not a good run.
Well, cool. We're going to jump to the next social media question, which is if you could add one thing to improve the game, what would it be? And Presswick Aaron, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, asks that one.
You want to take this first?
All right, so one of the weird things is that the game doesn't run consistently across different machines or on the same machine. So if I could have one thing, it would be consistent frame rate, because we can't use RTA, we can't use like live split or anything to time our game, so we have to use the frame accurate in-game timer, which it's floated to 1 second, so we can't have like milliseconds or anything like that. And it also means that if you do use splits, you may not actually know if you're ahead or not, depending on the lag varying, even on the same machine.
You had a couple of runs that were.
Yeah, I've had
You were
real-time
ahead where-
PBs that were actually behind in game time,
Yeah,
and vice versa.
Oh no.
It's actually going to be interesting because these computers run it slower than both of us are used to. I mean, so that's a big thing. Like just having constant frame rates. The game's not technologically demanding at all. It's a pixel game, so we're not sure why the frame rate's different between every computer, and it mixes the physics a little bit. So that's a big one. If I could add one thing, it's going to be interesting. I would actually, some of the checkpoints would be interesting to be removed to make it improved rather than add more.
Okay.
So like deaths are really quick, which is really nice, and that's why a lot of people would run this game or at least play this game, kind of like Super Meat Boy. You die, you immediately get back to the action. Removing some of those checkpoints would make it a lot more interesting, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it might not help like a casual playthrough.
Probably not.
There's one checkpoint in particular that I know Chad and I would really love to be removed from the game.
Yeah.
So,
All right, cool. Well, that's going to do it for our social media questions, I think. We're going to be wrapping up pretty quickly, but I want to, as a final question, ask you, if I am someone who sees these hard platformers run here and wants to kind of get into them, and specifically wants to get into running VVV, kind of where would I go for that? How can I find out more about the speedrun?
We have an open forum on the V6 page on speedrun.com, and you can also access our Discord from there or on my channel on Twitch. And we've gotten pretty active recently compared to what we were when we first started it.
Yeah.
But it's just short bursts. People come in and ask questions, and we're just glad to help them out. There's also a pretty rough tutorial I have, but I'm hoping to reduce it by about 2 hours in length.
Wow.
I think the big thing is a lot of people will start running like any percent, and Chad mentioned the Discord earlier. I would also encourage people to start doing 100%. People might be dissuaded by, say, doing things the hard way, or those notoriously tough trinkets. But the game does a really good job at basically building muscle memory immediately, because you can't get that trinket without building up muscle memory for the past few rooms.
Yeah.
So the big thing is
really difficult platformers.
yeah.
Kind of have
So
that same
a lot of
thing.
people will be like, I did this once and I don't want to do it again. But then they'll do it a second time and they'll realize it takes less than half the time to do it.
Right.
And that's what these games are really good for, and why I'd encourage anyone who has any interest in a game. It's really short, at least compared to a lot of other speedruns, and it's not that hard after the first time you play it, because you get that muscle memory just because you have to redo rooms over and over again. So I'd encourage anyone who's interested in kind of a 15, 20-minute platformer to go look at V6. It's generally really cheap, especially on the Steam sale. I think it's 99 cents.
Wow.
And it's been on sale. It's on sale almost all the time. But I would encourage anyone who's interested in kind of the community or kind of running the game to go onto the Discord, talk with Chad or I or a couple other people that are on there active. Ask any questions. We'll be good to help. That's really it.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me, and we'll be looking forward to your run in 2 runs from now, I believe, right after Super Meat Boy. So if you're a glutton for punishment, please stick around, because we got Super Meat Boy coming up next. I'm going to throw it right back to my main man, Mike Uyama.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jay Hobbs. And for those of you who want to know the
Now we should
donation, that pushed us to
I've talked while the mics were still.
500K. We had a $10,000 donation from the Yeti. Who says, hey all, Yeti here, $500,000, hype! And we're just gonna play a quick Twitch ad before Super Meat Boy. Okay, we are now ready for our Super Meat Boy race featuring Warm Ham and Fims.
Clapping for myself.
Nice. All right.
Cool.
Enjoy the run. Forple's gonna take over commentary, but
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're good.
I think we're good to go.
We're learning how to play, but we should be good in a
Yeah.
second.
We've spent a
gotta keep
long time
refreshing the
staring at the
memory here.
screen.
Yeah. I think we got it though.
I think we're good. Yeah. All right. Ready?
Do you
we do
two
it?
want to introduce yourselves?
Oh yeah. I'm Warm Ham.
I'm Fims.
Hi, I'm Vorpal again.
I'm Meatall AMA.
Then we have Spark over as well. All right. Let's do a countdown, shall we?
All right.
All right.
Who wants to do it?
Who's doing it?
All right, I'll do it.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Super Meat Boy. The game came
start.
out.
1-1's a hard stage, dude. It's fun.
The game came out in 2010 for Xbox Live Arcade. Was later ported to PC a few months later. Kind of a big deal at the time.